I'm Gina Daniels of Heartflow Creative, and I recently made a garden journal for myself, and I had some of you asking me how I made it, so I thought I'd just put together a short little tutorial. It's really easy. It's basically a travel notebook style, so I'll let you take a quick look at this. So I made it out of hanging file folders, and you'll see that there is an insert that is completely removable and refillable. So if you want to change things out, add pages to it, you can. I'll go ahead and fill you in later on how I'm using the pages that I made up for my travel journal, but this video is just about how I made it. So let's go ahead and get right to it. And that was my prototype. I made it for myself, and now that I've been using it, I'm going to make a few adjustments to the dimensions. We're going to need just one hanging file folder. This is just a regular standard size, and I suppose you could use a legal size and just cut it down, so because we're going to be cutting it down as well. So just one hanging file folder, and then one regular 8.5 by 11 piece of craft paper, cardstock, and some scissors, and glue or two-sided, double-sided tape, and then some type of, I'm using some twine, and then I'm also using a elastic binder, or elastic band for the middle binder. So you could probably even just get away with just using the twine if you wanted to, or just the elastic band. I use both. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll see that the finished product that I made is about 5.5 by 8.5. Now, the reason that started that way is because I made my own printables, and I just printed them out on 8.5 by 11 and wanted to be able to fold them in half and slip them right in. So now that I've been using it, you can see that they kind of stick out a little bit, which doesn't bother me at all, but I'm thinking of just going and adding about 1/4 inch on each side, just so everything's kind of nice and neatly tucked in there, especially if you want to continue to add pages. It'll get kind of chunky. Of course, I'm not going out and buying new hanging file folders. I'm just upcycling some old ones I found in the file drawer. And some of these, like this is one from Office Depot, and it actually has, I don't know if you can see it there, but it actually has a kind of a 1-inch score line from the center here. So that's great. That's what I'm going to use for mine. But I also noticed that on some of these others, it didn't have that. It had a score line, but it's it's a lot smaller. So in that case, I'm thinking of using this inside piece here. So I'll show you kind of both ways of how you can use this when you're measuring it out. Either way, I would take out the metal little hanging things here, because they're just going to get in the way and we're not going to use them. So you can simply, it's pretty easy, you just got to kind of lift them up there and slide it up there. Okay, and I don't know if there's anything to figure out what to do with those, but I'm not going to use that part at this point. This is going to end up being a kind of a spineless binding here, and so on the inside here you can see I used quite a bit here. Going forward, I'm just going to use like a 1-inch here. So this could be the inside of this part here, where we're putting it together. Or in my case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use one of these that has the middle that's scored. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and give you the dimensions on what we're going to use here. So in this case, cut it down the middle, and then I'm using the 1-inch score line there, and then I went ahead and I cut it at 7 inches from the center. So that's how I ended up with this piece here. So you can see I've got 1 inch and I cut it at 7 inches. So that's how I cut it here. Okay, so that's one option, how I did it. Or if you wanted to use, these, you're just going to go ahead and cut it from here, and that will become your fold line. And go in and cut it at 7 inches here. So we'll have basically a 6-inch front cover. Okay. So the next step is, now that you've got your 2 pieces cut, is go ahead and either score it. Like, that's why I chose this route, because it had a natural score line already at about 1 inch, and then that'll leave your 6 inches for your front cover. And then I scored mine at 9 inches going this direction, so I could fold it up this way, and I just cut a little notch out so that way I have a pocket. Okay, so let's go ahead and do my other half. So I'm going to measure down 9 inches. If you have a scoreboard, this will make it a lot easier. I do not, so I'm just going to mark mine at 9 inches and 9 inches. And just use my bone folder to score it across the way there. And fold that up. Okay. Then I just went ahead and notched out a little spot here. So that when I fold it up, it won't overlap there, okay? And then I also just cut down a little bit on this side, just a little smidge. Just so it's not showing on the edge there. Okay? So now I've got my 2 sides, and then I just took a full piece of 8.5 and 11 by 11 cardstock, in this case craft paper, folded it in half. So now I'm just going to go ahead and glue this. Or tape it down here, okay? And that leaves me about 1/4 inch on either side for my binding. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use some score tape. And you can certainly use glue here for this. I glued my first one down. I'm just, for the sake of time, using the 2-sided tape. Okay. Now remember, this is going to be on the inside, so I want to make sure that when I open it up, this is going to be on the inside here. Okay. So I'm going to center this just inside of my fold line there, and I'm just eyeballing it, but we're talking about probably, I mean, a 1/16 of an inch is where I went in. You can certainly go in a little bit further if you wanted to, but you can see there's just a little bit on the inside there. Okay, this is basically how it's going to go here, right? While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and glue this pocket in just to get it out of the way. I think on this one, the first thing I'm going to do is just get this pocket out of the way. going to add the back side to it. I have a 1-inch tape, but I think it might be just a tad bigger than what I have here. So make sure your pockets are lined up. I want these two lined up pretty well. So. Alright, so getting those two lined up was probably the hardest thing there, but really I want to be able to have those laying flat next to each other. And when I fold it, I want just kind of a little bitty gap in between there. Okay. Get that pressed down really well on that tape. Alright, so now I have my inner one. Really spot. These two. Okay. And now these two little notches here, you can cut those out if you want. Totally up to you, or you can leave them there. There's the outside of our cover. So now we're just going to go ahead and add our elastic band to the middle. And I'll cut about probably 2.5 lengths there. I don't need quite that much, but that'll just give me enough to make sure I can have it nice and tight. And I'm running that along the outside of my and make sure on this one, if you're using elastic band, get it nice and tight so that your pages will stay in there. And that's where we'll slide in the insert. So what I did for the insert is I took my 8.5 by 11 printables and just nested them into one signature. Added another piece of cardstock, which is totally optional, but I just added another little piece of decorative cardstock, put a sticker here, and now just slide that into the journal. Okay, and what I did is I just took a piece of this twine, just really more for decorative purposes, and added it to the outside here because I think it just kind of finished it off really cute. And that in. It kind of creates a little channel there. So just tie a little square knot, and then I finished off with a bow. You could use a ribbon, you could use nothing at all. But totally up to you if you just want to add a little cuteness to it. The other thing I did is I rounded my corners. So you can totally do that if you want to, and then just embellished the front. In my case, in what I did is I just took a piece of canvas and inked up the edges with a little piece of decorative paper, cut out some dragonflies and butterflies out of some of my scrapbook paper, sewed those in, and actually I sewed them onto the scrap piece of paper. All this I sewed together and just glued it to the front. Then I ran a machine stitch around the entire outside, and also that sewed in my pockets. So on this version, let's figure out how we're going to decorate this one. And yeah, I think I do like it a little bit bigger to really hold in those pieces there. Okay. And if you're not crazy about, you know, the inside of this, you can cover this up with cardstock. So yeah. All right. Well, meet me back here, and we'll probably go ahead. Let's go ahead and decorate this up next. Okay, well, now I am just about finished with this garden journal, and my camera ran out of battery while I was filming while I was decorating it, and so I didn't catch that for you, but I'll just give you a recap of what I did to kind of embellish this particular journal. So if you remember the first one I made, I had basically just taken some scrapbook paper and stitched it to a piece of canvas and fussy cut some little insects, put on here, and sewed that all together, just glued it to the front, and then I ran a stitch around the edge and you know, used a visible image stamp there, some washi, big washi sticker, and some more washi tape and some, you know, some other visible image stamps. So that was the one I made before. So in this one I found a piece of community canvas and just tore a piece out of that and stamped a piece of cardstock on with this Toadstool from this Totally Toadstools stamp set from Visible Image, and I also used the Nature Heals the Soul and stamped it onto a little piece of canvas here. And then I just inked it up. I thought about going in and painting it or coloring it in, but I actually really like it just, I think, with the kind of the rustic look of the hanging file folder and just the black and white image. I kind of like that, just kind of grungy look there. So I decided just to leave it uncolored. And then on the inside, I just stamped on, I don't know what brand of stamp this is, but I just stamped on some leaves here. And there was a little Office Depot stamp that was here, kind of similar to this, but it was bigger. And I just covered that up with washi tape and put a little washi tape on the edge here. And then this is a big washi sticker that I got from Joann's, I think, just to kind of pull that together there. And then that brings me to my insert where I just plugged in my printables. So got those tucked in there. And if you're making this on your own and you don't have the printables, you know, you can just make your own pages. You can use notebook pages or tea stain pages and just, you know, insert, put whatever you want in here. And then in the back, I kept it really simple. Just a few more stamps, some more washi tape, because there's a little Office Depot stamp, but there's another big one here. And then I just threw a little bookmark back there. So that's it on this one. I kept it really simple. I feel like the person who ends up with this particular journal can embellish it further if they want to. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you end up making your version of the garden journal and planner, please share it with me, and post a picture of what you did. And if you have any other ideas, I'd love to hear from you. And join me back here in the Heartflow Studio soon. All right, have a good day.